Morning sir, my name is Yo Hui En. My metric number is 263308. Now I am going to explain about the minimum wage in Malaysia. In Malaysia, minimum wage refers as the lower wages required to be given to working individual and does not apply to apprentices and domestic servants. The minimum wages was announced in October 2010, and as a government policy tool, the new economy model was adopted in January 2013 to ensure that the economy will transition from a middle-income economy to a high-income economy tolerance by 2020. So in Malaysia, the minimum wages on 2013 is 900 and increased 100, which is 1,000 on 2016, and now the minimum wages is 1,200. While in Sabah Sarawak, the minimum wages is a little bit lower than the Malaysia, which is only 800 on 2013 and increased to 920 on 2016. And now the minimum wages in Sabah Sarawak is 1,050 ringgit. Minimum wages refer to the minimum amount of work or service provided to employee within a certain period of time. The minimum wages constitute the basic wages excluding overpaid, allowance, and other benefits. However, to provide paying the minimum wages, some of the employer or company count other benefits as minimum wages. Some people force workers to sign that they get a minimum wage, but in reality, this is a sign of lower wages. Foreign workers will more likely to benefit from the new rate, and he cautions that this would result in a large outflow of funds from the country, with foreign workers sending more money to their hometown. Increase in minimum wages rate for major cities would work against the effort to encourage rural development. Before my friend explain about the implication of minimum wages of Malaysia to human resource management functions, let us watch a short video about the minimum wages.
Alright, so let's just say this right off the top. I know the minimum wage can be contentious, so you can see the research I'm citing in this piece right now online. I'm pulling the info from the Center for Poverty Research, which is part of the University of California, Davis. The minimum wage globally can be traced back to 1894. That's when New Zealand became the first country to enact a minimum wage law. We wouldn't get one here in the United States until 1938. That's when Congress passed the Fair Labor Standards Act, which set the minimum wage at 25 cents an hour. Since then, the amount's been raised 22 times, most recently 10 years ago, when it was set at $7.25 an hour. 29 states actually have set their own minimum wages that are higher than that, but Indiana and Kentucky are not among them, meaning that minimum wage workers here make just over $15,000 a year working full-time. Advocates for raising the minimum wage argue that that's not enough to live on, which is why they're calling for $15 an hour.
The American people want that debate. They know that so many people are working at starvation wages.
A Pew Research survey this spring shows that 2 out of 3 Americans support this idea, though there is a partisan divide. 57% of Republicans oppose a $15 minimum wage. They say it would lead to higher prices and fewer jobs.
It would cost, according to the Congressional Budget Office, between 1 and 3 million jobs lost. We don't need to lose jobs. We don't have enough jobs now.
Hi everyone! Today we're going to discover what is minimum wage order, specifically on how the minimum wage in Malaysia is determined. According to the National Human Resource Center, the minimum wage is defined as the basic wages, excluding allowances or other payments. Under the new economic model, Malaysia aims to become a high-income nation that is both inclusive and sustainable by 2010. So the question is, how the minimum wage in Malaysia is determined? It is according to the National Wages Consultative Council Act 2011 that established NWCC to conduct studies on all matters concerning minimum wage and to make recommendations to the government to make minimum wage orders according to sectors, types of employment, and regional area. This flow chart tells you about how the minimum wage is determined. It involves several parties including the public, National Wage Consultative Council, and of course, the government. In the tabling of Budget 2019, the Minister of Finance, Lim Guan Ang, has announced the increase in minimum wage from 1,000 ringgit to 1,100 ringgit effective January 1, 2019. Wait.
Okay, now let's my group members explain about the implication of minimum wage to human resource management functions, which including performance management, human resource development, safety and health, compensations, staffing, and also employee and labor relations. Besides, my friend also will explain about the solution or strategy to address the minimum wages issue from the human resource management perspective.
Hi, I am Tia Jenny. Today I need to present the implication of minimum wage to performance management. Performance management meaning a corporate management tool that help manager monitor and evaluate employees' work. Performance management's goal is to create an environment of work where people can perform to the best of their ability to produce the higher quality work more efficiently and effectively. Implication of minimum wage to performance management will bring a positive impact to the company and countries. This includes the ability to improve employee standard of living, increase the employee's purchasing power, raise productivity in the long term, and reduce the poverty rate. This positive impact will make benefit the economic growth of the country. Confirming that the minimum wage will positively impact in employee quality and life and productivity. Companies must consider having some attractive compensation package to affect the employees' level of commitment while similarly helping companies achieve their growth in short term and the long term. The minimum wage has potentially increased the social justice and both Malaysia and non-Malaysia employees will receive the same minimum wage rate. This will also reflect equality in income distribution. Based for this, there is a need to focus on the impact of minimum wage implementation in Malaysia and non-Malaysia employees. It will become important to note that minimum wage is one of the points used when setting a compensation structure and is almost the factor that affect the success of the company. Impact of minimum wage policy is on 4 types of companies such as steel mill, food ingredient, furniture, and electric appliances. The business operator and identified that all 4 companies have filled that 100 employees and have been operating from the 20 to 45 years. Employees utilization varies amongst this company. For example, the food ingredient company hit more professional. The electric appliance company hit more foreign labor, has fewer skills were needed to work in production line. The operation cost risk for company who employ lower skilled employees which are primarily foreign labor. Employees' productivity was not influenced by minimum wage implementation, has total production, depends on several factors. The company operator agree that the minimum wage will motivate their employees to improve the work performance and level of commitment. Additionally, company operators decide not to transfer the increased cost burden to the customer with the risk product price. The company's operator for the electric and solar appliance company agreed that higher wage has a conclusion of the minimum wage implementation lead to higher work morals, thus reducing the employees' work error. But another 2 companies process that training and development help reduce the employees' work error. Not use minimum wage policy. There is conclude that the type of production determines the impact of the minimum wage on performance level. For example, the performance of the electric appliance company will more low-skilled employees compared to other type of employees. That depend on the capacity of the machine and the product demand, not only of on the minimum wage will bring a positive impact and also negative impact to a company or business depend to what type of company or business. How about the implication of minimum wage to human resource development? Human resource development is the efficiency of training, education, and other type of development for employees after they are hit in an organization. The activity fall under this scope and usually part of the human resource office or department. The type of activity related to human resource development are means to use an employees onboarding process and to improve success throughout their employment. Read on to learn more about this arm of human resource and what they offer organization and their staff. Then studies and economic consequences of minimum wage raise have focused mainly on the disemployment effect, no matter what, of whether a minimum wage risk induce a reduction in employment. If it reduces the training opportunity for persons who are remain employed, the whole influence on society will be significant. Nowadays, there are many existing empirical studies about the implication of minimum wage to increase human resource development. On the other side, some work report that minimum wage have negative effect on human resource development. Common economy theories suggest that the minimum wage will reduce the level of young people's employment because their pay will be increased in excess of their contribution on to output and also curtains the event of training prevention. Since companies will be forced to cut training or human resource development has a way of coping well with the increase in their employment costs. Minimum wage may, insofar as it increased company labor costs, brought some into the moving out market, increase the quality and price of the company's product, however, improve a positive impact on skill development. Company had just been under little pressure to cut costs such as training costs. Implication of the minimum wage for human resource development need to be set against the characteristic furthers of company in low-paying sector of the economy and particularly the uncertainty of company process of adjustment. Research study has demonstrated with different ways in which the minimum wage has been accommodated with little obvious disruption, given the rate of indeterminacy that characterizes the pay-setting process in small companies without it necessarily constituency assault. The finding that clear determined response by company in low-paying sector to the introduction of the minimum wage has been somewhat rare can thus be extended to implications for human development.
Hello everyone, my name is Sui Teo Hui and my metric number is 26348. So now I will continue for the part of implication of minimum wage to safety and health and also the implication of minimum wage to compensation. So let us move to the implication of minimum wage to safety and health part. So the minimum wage increase is actually will have an impact to the safety and health. The safety level of employees will reduce. This because when the minimum wage of employees increase, company need to spend more to the overall production cost. So to reduce the overall production cost, company tend to increase the amount of labor, especially for the specific work employees. This will be more risky for the specific work employees actually. This because those specific work employees need to spend more time at the non-safety workplace like darkness and more risky. So for the worsening of workplace safety will cause the occupation injuries increase. So this will reduce the safety level of employees. Next, for the employees' health. The increase of minimum wage is actually will affect the employees' health by themselves. It's not because of the company. This is because they have the extra income. But the employees, when they have the extra income, some of them and most of them are not spent with healthy way, means to buying some healthy products. So, the unhealthy products, for example, like tobacco, alcohol, will become needs after the income increase. So, let us move to the last impact for safety and health part, which is reduction in time cost. The employees will have the additional times for during their leisure times, and these give them have a chance, increase the chance for them to doing some unhealthy activities, and these unhealthy activities will cause their health reduce. Okay, now let us move to the implication of minimum wage to compensation part. The minimum wage increase will cause the impact for monetary compensation and also non-monetary compensation. Let us talk about the monetary compensations for employees. Monetary compensation for employees will reduce actually. This is because when the company decrease, the company are forced to reduce their production costs, and one of the methods that they will be used is by reduce the compensation expenses of the company. So for example, the company will reduce the yearly bonus and also the full-time attendance bonus of employees to reduce the compensation expenses of the company in order to reduce the overall production cost. So now let's talk about the non-monetary compensation for employees. When the minimum wage increase, the non-monetary compensation for employees is actually will decrease. This is because company don't have enough fund to continue their the production process, so they need to reduce the other expenses in order to get the other capital for them to invest into the production process. So they were forced to reduce the organization expenses in compensation category. By the non-monetary compensation categories expenses, the training programs will be reduced or either will be declined by the company. So they can save the money for compensation expenses. But actually, for the compensation, if reduced, this will give an impact for the satisfaction level of employees. The employees will feel that they are not satisfied for the company because they lost their bonus, they lost their benefits, they lost the chance to go in for the training programs of the companies. So this actually will give an bad effect for the company. So this is all of my parts, and now let us continue for the next part. Okay, thank you. That's all for me.
Hi sir, my name is Lim Jaing, metric number 263406. I'm going to present topic about the implication of minimum wage to staffing. Firstly, the implementation of minimum wage will attract a larger number of potential employees. Having minimum wage is like a safeguard to the job seekers, and it enables them to have a benchmark for the salary. The higher the minimum wage, the higher the possibility for the company to attract better qualified and more experienced employees. Furthermore, having minimum wage can help to lower employee turnover, as a satisfied worker is less likely to look for another employment opportunity. In other way round, the productivity and customer satisfaction of the company can be increased due to passionate in working. Increasing minimum wage is definitely a great news for the employees, but on the other hand, it is stressing the business owner, especially SME, small to mid-sized enterprise. As a proof, former Malaysia government suggested to raise the minimum wage from 1,100 ringgit to 1,200 ringgit starting from 1st January 2020 based on budget 2020. But the decision was withdrawn due to disagreement from the SME Association of Malaysia. It was suggested by the association that if Pakatan Harapan government were to fulfill its election promise to increase the minimum wage, the government should absorb 50% of the increase in costs incurred by businesses. In addition, a raise in minimum wage may lead to low employment rate, as some SME cannot afford the higher wages and hire lesser employee. It is stated that minimum wages increase the cost of labor above the marginal productivity of low-paid workers and keep them out of the market. So the company is more likely to increase the salary of current employee, rather than hiring new staff with minimum wage requirement. From this, the company believes that they can have higher productivity and lower employee turnover. It is also cost-effective because the company do not need to guide and train new staff. Finally, the decision of raising the minimum wage is serious and supposed to be reviewed under subsection 21st of the National Wages Consultative Council (NWCC) Act every 2 years. The Council is obliged to approach the public on the minimum wage rates and coverage, then analyze the collected data and information before the decision of raising minimum wage was made. Besides, research on the wages and socio-economic indicators shall be done beforehand. Next, I will discuss the topic about the implication of minimum wage to employee and labor relations. By implementing minimum wages, the welfare of the low-wage employee would not be compromised, especially to cope with price inflation. A successful implementation of minimum wage provides the employees to have better living standards, as they do not have to work more than one job to earn a living. Other than that, implementation of minimum wage can improve satisfaction of employee and becoming a workforce motivation. If the employees are paid with reasonable salary, they will have better mental and physical health. The working environment will be happier, and employees are motivated to improve their skills or perform better. The company benefits the most from having happy, motivated workers. This is also why many companies will pay the employees more than the minimum wage. However, there are some controversies regarding having minimum wage will cause low-skilled workers to lose their jobs. It is explained that the employers would invest in other inputs, such as equipment or other capitals, rather than hiring low-skilled workers, because hiring low-skilled workers is now more expensive. Furthermore, the higher wage and new inputs cause higher prices, which leads to reduced products and labor demand. Also, the company will tend to hire fewer low-skilled workers and more high-skilled workers at the same minimum wage to improve the productivity and efficiency of the business. Moreover, labor relations manager of the company should be able to provide employers with guidance and assistance in updating labor laws from time to time, such as reminding the Human Resource Department about the current minimum wage, providing a safe and working environment, retrenchment, hours of work and overtime, union recognition, and union claims on terms and conditions of employment. In addition, it is labor relations managers' responsibility to provide specialized consultancy services on human resources and industrial relation matters. Nevertheless, a labor relation manager should be able to assist the employee who failed to get paid minimum wage by advising the human resource staff to ensure compliance with the law. If the situation continues to happen, the labor relation manager will help the employee by meeting with elected labor union officials to make report of the case. In conclusion, the implementation of minimum wage can bring both advantages and disadvantages towards the employee, while labor relations are meant to assist and protect employee from discrimination. That's all from me now. Thank you.
My name is Ling Ann, metric number 262843. Today I will present about the solution or strategy to address the minimum wages issue from the human resources management perspective. There are some challenges for the human resources management perspective with the issue of the minimum wages. The problem that they have faced is the productivity of the workforce is low, and this causes the manager has a problem to workforce is low, and this causes the manager have problem to take action to the workers who are senior level that have worked for several years compared to the workers that have done their responsibility as a worker to complete their job on time. Besides that, the company that has low profit have problems paying the workers. Due to the challenges and problems that the human resources management have faced, they had some strategy to help the human resources management perspective to solve the issue of the minimum wages. Human resources management has the perspective to solve the low productivity of the workforce. Manager can recruit the person that has the condition that suit to the company and make sure the person have responsibility for their jobs to determine their company capacity and can be higher and stable. The company manager can have the questionnaire through online and offline mode. The manager must make sure the working surrounding is suitable to the workers to avoid the workers have been exploitation. Besides that, human resources management have to make sure the fulfillment process of minimum wages need to more transparent to have a positive commitment to constant. In addition, the human resources management manager should be giving the rewards and punishment to make it become more impressive with the workers in the company and to make sure the long run by retaining more secondary school leavers will have an aggressive salary and the minimum wages is a necessary schema for a company. In Malaysia, they still have a lot of secondary fresh graduates who accept the constant from the learning system, have analog expertise and language intelligence. In consequence, human resources management responsibility with the minimum wages can use all the benefit to the workers and make sure the workers are assumed with the policy, and this will give the huge opportunity to the company to produce a high quality product and have a high level of productivity that can make a giant profit to the company by concentrating in worker skills. That's all for my part. Thank you.